Want to help the channel grow?
No.
Check out previous movie Flaws in Oz. The playlist can be found at the top right-hand corner. If you're new here, the rules are simple. We'll attempt to show Hollywood what worked and what didn't, while also trying to have some fun with a special type of video review. Anything just okay or meh gets ignored, while anything good gets an A and anything bad gets an F. This will give us a unique map cinema score at the end, ranging from -100 to +100. Previously on The Walking Dead 101. Flaws in Oz. Another neat little Easter egg, there actually was a girl in the 4th issue of the comic book, which this show is based on. And now The Walking Dead 102. Guts.
Yeah, whatever, yeehaw. You're still a dumbass.
As the camera floats downward, we see a city, a Quarry Dale on watch, and smoothly it follows Emma's bucket of picked mushrooms. And as we get a peek at the camp, we see a few members doing random tasks, immersing us in the moment while setting up the environment. Fun fact, this was actually filmed during the pilot. The sound continues using nature to score the scene, aiding to the immersion. It's almost impossible for someone to sneak up to you while you're in the woods, unless they barely move and you walk to them while they hide behind a tree, which is probably what they should have done here. Ironically, this is a quickie fake out scare for the audience. I say ironically because they're here to meet up for a quickie. It's done well to leave the audience mixed. Some will call her a slut and him gross, while others will sympathize because both of them truly believe Rick is dead, even showcasing both are uneasy with the memory of Rick. And the arguably most important aspect of this scene is how Laurie treats Shane. This whirl of emotions is real, and it helps some viewers to sympathize with him when he starts to crack. Small details aiding the realism. Look at those dirty nails. She's picking mushrooms to eat, so her nails shouldn't be clean. Back to Rick's dilemma. We return the same way we left him, with the camera pushing down on the tank. It's a reverse from 101's ending where the camera pulls away. They don't cheat it either. There's more zombies built up around the horse, and some moved around. Going from silent to the rising chorus of walker growls as we get closer is a nice touch. I don't even know how plausible this is with Glenn on the radio. How did he know it was on? Why is it on? The battery isn't dead? I just assumed he got super lucky. I'm sure those viewers experienced with tanks and radios have a better grasp, but I gotta be fair to the rules. The majority of viewers likely just go with the flow on this one.
You're surrounded by walkers.
Glenn calls them walkers only once, and geeks for the rest of the time.
There's one geek still up in the tank.
This is inconsistent zombie names between different characters. Rick should have introduced the name Walkers to them, getting it from Morgan.
I don't mind telling you, I'm a little concerned in here.
Oh man, you should see from over here. You'd be having a major freak out.
Good, exciting hype building up. The grenade sets up something for much later, which actually helps feel like one big story and not so segmented between episodes. Yes, he smashes that walker and it's not a jelly skull scumbag. There's weight to that hit. Rick tucks his left arm and it's consistent with his injury. However, this is forgotten about for the rest of the episode. It's a solid getaway. The city streets, walker clusters, and CGI blood at a distance is bearable, and it should be one of the only rare times it's used. The alley helps to minimize the space and maximize the visual threat of the walkers, and it adds to the claustrophobic and tricky aspect of navigating through a fallen city.
Nice moves there, Clint Eastwood. You the new sheriff? Come riding in to clean up the town?
Solid introduction.
Glad.
Okay, so this is tricky. In a later season, walkers don't climb. However, at this point in time, the creative team was modeling the walkers a little bit after the classic zombies, and to be fair, it's not too bad. We only see this one walker barely start to climb. So here's the dilemma. It's not technically inconsistent because this is showing us what this version of zombie is capable of. However, later on, they trim what the walkers can do to have them being just simple, shambling meat puppets.
Right side, it'll be the fall that kills us.
Son of a bitch, we gotta kill you.
No,
Andrea has a reason to be pissed, but pulling a gun on Rick was a bad move, story-wise. Remember this part, because we're going to explain it in a minute when it connects to a scene coming up. Plus, there's already enough tension. They're all trapped now because the walkers got drawn in by Rick's gunshots. This easily establishes this episode's mini-plot of escaping.
You just rang the dinner bell.
With these videos, we take the fandom into consideration, like the zombies at the door of the store being reminiscent of Dawn of the Dead with zombies at the glass door of the mall. It's the vibe that is enduring to fans. Now back to what zombies can do. Some fans are fine with and like them using rocks to break glass. Again, it's the same with Romero ghouls. I personally don't like it, and I feel they shouldn't have it in this scene because it's a complex thought. The rock is a tool, so the zombie would have to go outside of simple instinct, like smelling for example, to think of using a tool, finding, lifting, then swinging the rock. Unless your zombies are different, this should be avoided.
You ought to be more polite to a man with a gun. On a common sense.
Michael Rooker. This introduction is solid, not even flinching at a small diverse group of survivors putting up with a coked out racist. Pause. Remember when I said Andrea shouldn't have pulled her gun on Rick? Well, during this moment, I waited for her to pull it out. That's not a sentence I ever imagined saying. Anyway, maybe Merle snatches it and that's the gun he ends up with. Nope. She never pulls it out. It's as if it's forgotten about.
No, please.
Andrea, it's hard and it's wedged in your ass crack. You mean to tell me you don't feel that? Never thought I'd say those words again. But they didn't forget the gun because it's mentioned 2 scenes later.
Democracy time, y'all. Show of hands.
That's democracy for you.
Merle isn't just a great character actor playing an out-of-control cokehead, he's a tool. No, he's a tool to allow Rick, the main character, to rescue the new group from their current hostile threat. Smoothly done.
Look here, Merle. We survive this by pulling together, not apart. I can see you make a habit of missing the point.
These two are great here, and I like how he's throwing Merle's words back at him.
Ought to be polite to a man with a gun. Only common sense.
We go off somewhere, bump some uglies. Gonna die anyway.
I'd rather.
Hey!
It's good to build up others within the group,
But only if we do it my way. You've got Merle's gun and I've seen you shoot. You be my wingman.
rather than have the main character do all or most of it, especially this group dynamic that they're setting up.
Why not take it?
There's a cop staring at me.
A small moment that's done well, acted well, and it has a soft greatness to it. Andrea is still holding on to society's rules and doesn't want to loot, and this scene carries even more weight the longer the series plays out. Imagine characters from season 10 in this moment. Now, we want to root for these characters, and part of the problem solving is part of the enjoyment.
They see you, smell you, and if they catch you, they eat you.
And while solving their problem, they play with the rules of the world, and it's done in a way to tease the viewer, and it leaves them in the dark about what's going to happen next. The highlight standout moment of the episode, introducing zombie fans to the Guts Walker repellent technique. They magnify the brutality by mentioning the humanity, and they successfully toss in a touch of humor.
One more thing. He's an organ donor.
The score isn't abrasive. There's this buildup of tension, suspense as they walk among the walkers. It is just downright fun and exciting, especially on the first viewing. You can't beat it, but still for a rewatch, these moments are probably some of the most fun from this episode. Fresh, gross, super cool concept. Word reaches camp, they are trapped via a convenient weak signal, and we get to see Shane in action as leader. His people are alive, but trapped, and immediately he writes them off as dead.
So she's trapped. She's gone.
She's my sister, you son of a bitch.
In later seasons, there's so much treenery. Get it? Scenery, that's all trees. Well, I'm glad someone likes my jokes. I'm sorry. I'll get back to the script. So, yeah, with all the time spent in the woods later on with this series, these moments in the city are just refreshing to watch. Alpha and Beta would be so proud of Glenn.
Smell's washing off, isn't it?
No, it's not. Well, maybe.
Now, when you're telling stories, there's a balance between convenient and good timing. I think this has enough charm, plus the rumbling skies earlier did set it up. I lived in a state that had literal 2-minute downpours followed immediately by a sunny day, so it's not out of the realm of reality. When it comes to CGI wounds, the actors, stuntmen, extras, whoever's being the injured party needs to remain, usually, extremely still so that way the CGI can line up and you don't have the axe vibrating, moving, shifting, axe, knife, whatever you're using, shifting throughout the wound and making it look just absolutely ridiculous. That's not with all scenes, but a lot of them need this technique where they remain very still. Oh, and some of you will love this, but someone forgot to add the pointy tip to the axe right before he sends it crashing down onto the walker's head. When it comes to certain impact scenes, the actor usually only uses a partial weapon, and then later in post-production when they're doing the special effects, they add the rest of the blade. Stick, knife, whatever it is. Bow and arrow. I'm sure most of yous didn't even notice, and that's why I'm not taking a point off specifically for this. It's on screen for literally half a second. Now hopefully someday, soon in the future, when I get a chance to make some of my short films, one thing I want to attack head on is that ultra realistic shock vibration, the impact, and pulling the weapons out oftentimes aren't as easy as just in and out like butter. The weapons get stuck, you need to wiggle them, they get lodged in the bone, the sinew. So this is something that we will flaw in the future. It's a small thing for some, I absolutely get it. It doesn't ruin the movie or experience for me. However, I do think in the future, for certain tastes, adding that ultra realism can add so much to the scene. It's amazing how some of those tiny details can really raise up a scene or moment. It still leads to an oh shit moment. Shaky Cam is a bit overdone. I appreciate the trouble, budget, and time crunch behind the scenes, but I gotta be fair. Still, they did get a bunch of beautiful shots in this sequence, and I love it. The climbing walkers. It's another problem between different camps in the fandom. It also falls in that odd place where it's what the creative team wanted at the time, but changed later in the series. I will admit, I would take climbing zombies over a zombie with a rock or club any day because it adds a level of urgency and threat without using that complex thought I talked about. However, we are trying to rule based on a franchise consistency. At least they only let a few of them try and only one succeed in climbing over. The rest take the fence down by pure pressure. Not pure pressure, but pure pressure. I don't know why that made me laugh in my head. Moving on.
They're leaving us.
What?
After getting a taste of Shane's leadership and treatment, we see what Rick would do with his people trapped.
You need to draw them away. Raise your friends. Tell them to get down there and be ready.
Great job with these scenes and the feeling of urgency. And I know it might seem super simple, but I love where Rick got the idea for this at.
Have to wait him out till morning.
Yes, the car used is a cool Breaking Bad Easter egg reference, and that's all. Plus, didn't Walter White blow the car up in Breaking Bad? I don't understand the logic in that. It's just a reference Easter egg for fans, okay?
Jeez, you got a big pussy.
Definitely well played freak out.
You can't, man. He's not human. Hey, don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Both the gun bag from 101 and now Merle are solid setups for the coming story in 103. The car is a cool and fun part to the problem solving. They escape with 0 casualties. Okay, so they successfully escape, and it's time to celebrate with Glenn. Embracing the iconic imagery from 101 and mirroring Glenn's exit to Rick's entrance, we get one kick-ass ending moment.
We can have a lot of fun.
And that was The Walking Dead episode 102, Guts. Plot-wise, it's very simple. Get untrapped. This episode also needs to bring Rick and gang together. They gotta problem solve, and they gotta get out safe, successfully, to start building connections, with the story flowing into 103. And being trapped was likely a solution to a strict budget, yet they were able to open the world up for a few scenes, making it feel massive. Now, placement is also a key factor, as in episode 2, it works wonderfully, but if this was an episode 200, it wouldn't be as impressive. And to get our unique cinema score, we subtract the F's away from the A's, giving us a map cinema score of 49. And the tally so far is episode 101 at the top with 61, and episode 102 not too far behind it with 49. And stay tuned, because coming up next is The Walking Dead 103, Tell It to the Frogs, as well as the winner for our member polls for the next movie Flaws and Aws, which will be Night of the Living Dead, the original. If you'd like to help support so we can reach our goal of consistent uploads 1 to 2 every single week, you can find the links in the video description below. A huge shout out to the Patreon supporters, a brand new one jumping on board, Princess Pie, as well as Austin Becker, and I'm putting up a list of some legendary supporters who have been supporting for the last few months just to keep the content rolling with no slowdown. You guys are the real MVPs.